What is up? We're going to need like a fade out or something on that. I'll figure that out. What's going on? And welcome in. It is Post Loons, May 7th, 2022. My name is Jeremy Rushing here to break down an unfortunate 1-0 loss for Minnesota United at home to FC Cincinnati. Not the result anybody wanted tonight at Allianz Field. How's it going, guys? My name is Jeremy Rushing. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the stream. If you could, while you're here, give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Leave us a question or a comment on YouTube if you want to get involved in the conversation. If you're watching over on Twitter and you just want to chill, that's fine. But if you want to get involved in the conversation, you want to leave your feedback, your questions, your comments, your hot takes, you're going to have to go over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com, search Soda Soccer, search Post Loons, and you're going to be able to get involved in the conversation here on Post Loons tonight. But again, a 1-0 Minnesota United loss to FC Cincinnati. A match that coming in, you thought very, very winnable, although FC Cincinnati had been coming in on a bit of a hot streak with home and away wins against Toronto. You know, this is not the FC Cincinnati of the past, but an FC Cincinnati squad that you thought you were confident that you were better than heading into this one. And 3 points were very much on the table. But it didn't come out that way tonight against FC Cincinnati with that 1-0 loss. A lot of questions and comments coming in on the stream so far. Let's get to Christian's. Christian says, unacceptable result at home. We missed Lud big time. Maybe he could have finished one of those opportunities. I think Boggy and Dunladi are better coming in as subs in the second half when the opponent is tiring. I will get to that in my 3 things in just a minute. But I agree with that statement about Bongi and Dunladi. I was skeptical about starting them when they had so much success in the second half together. Again, that Bongi-Dunladi-Lud combination up top. The 2 wins that Minnesota United put together in league play against Chicago and Colorado, they came in 65th, 75th minute, and you saw the results. 5 goals in just about a half's worth of time on the pitch together when they play in the second half. All of a sudden, then you turn from that to starting them in the first half, thinking that you'll have the same dynamic. But it's not the same dynamic. The first 30 minutes of a match and the last 30 minutes of a match are very, very different animals when you're talking about how much fresh legs means in those scenarios and the wind of the team you're playing. So if you're able to put energetic, forward-thinking, forward-playing players on who can be effective in that way in the last 30 minutes, you're going to have more success than when you put that same squad together, those same pieces together in the first 30 minutes, because you're going to have the energy and you're going to be doing that against a team that theoretically is more tired. When you do it in the first 15, 20 minutes, you see that short burst of success that Minnesota United has in these last 2 matches, LAFC and FC Cincinnati. Both matches, this team got on the front foot quick. They put together a high press. They were forcing turnovers. They were getting good opportunities. But you do not finish your chances in those scenarios. You do not take advantage of that first 15, 20-minute onslaught by actually grabbing a goal. And then suddenly the tide starts to turn. Either the other team figures you out, or you're no longer able to high press for longer into the match, whatever it is. All of a sudden, the tide turns, things start to get even. And then in the second half, much like the LAFC match, we really saw the opposing team take over and really have success, leading to a goal in this match, led to 2 goals against LAFC. I'm going to get into my 3 things, though, guys. Keep leaving those questions and comments on the YouTube channel. My first thing is you simply cannot have this result. You simply cannot have it. At the end of the day, this Western Conference table looks to be very, very competitive. There are teams that missed the playoffs last year who are normally perennial playoff contenders that are back in that picture. LAFC, LA Galaxy for 2. There are other teams who were at the bottom of the Western Conference last year that looked like basement dwellers that are performing, exceeding expectations, and look like they've taken that next step. Austin being one of those. You cannot take a step back this season and expect to make the playoffs if you're Minnesota United. You can't even, in my opinion, you can't even go level last year quality-wise and result-wise and points-wise and still expect to make the playoffs in the Western Conference the way things are looking this year. I know we're 10 matches in. I know we're early on, so that might be a big declaration at this point. But getting results against the team that you should be getting results against at home, you have to do that. You have to get those results. And Minnesota United failed that mission tonight. Hopefully they can do some things to turn the tide a little bit. Obviously, getting Robin Lod back, he was out ill tonight, will theoretically help. But you need to find something that's going to work, especially on the attack and especially in goal scoring, especially in finishing off opportunities. My second thing touches on something I've already touched on: early burst, then nothing. And that's really what we saw again tonight. And I think that's a byproduct of starting with Abu Danladi and Bagukuli Hlongwane in the lineup as opposed to bringing them in the second half. You're going to have that initial burst of energy. You're going to have that initial front-footedness because of the energy they bring. But teams are going to be able to figure that out over a longer portion of the match and figure out how to have success against that for 45, 50, 60 minutes until those guys inevitably come off. That's why I agree with Christian's point from earlier that duo specifically on the wings, Hlongwane and Danladi, would be much better suited coming in the second half. We've seen the success from that. We haven't seen nearly the same success from them starting those matches. These last two matches, I should say. And my final point, it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek. It's a little bit sarcastic, but I also kind of mean it. Dane can't do everything. Dane St. Clair had another world-class performance tonight in goal. 4 or 5 amazing saves to keep Minnesota United in this match. But he can't go to the opposite box and score a goal for you. He can't finish off a chance for you 85, 90 yards from where he's standing. You need to figure out a way to complement his performances with goals. Because the way he's performing, he deserves more. And don't forget about the team. I mean, obviously the team deserves more based off those Dane St. Clair performances, but Dane deserves more. Dane deserves to have more wins on his record. Dane deserves to have more results on his record. But you're not doing your job on the other end of the pitch to make these performances from Dane St. Clair really, really matter over the long term. I get you've won a few matches where he has had good performances, but all in all, tonight you wasted a really good performance from him. You wasted maybe his best performance of the season so far, aside from the New York game. It's tough. It's tough to see Minnesota United waste that performance and waste this opportunity at home. Keep leaving those questions and comments in the stream, guys. NE Big Blue says, with the attack lacking, what would you think of Hunu as a sub for Danladi on the wing in the future? Put Lod in at the false 9. Hunu's playmaking ability seems to be there. I don't know what Adrian Hunu looks like on the wings. I could see him as a number 10, but then again, that means you're not playing Emmanuel Reynoso, right? So this is where that conversation of the two-striker system really comes into play for Minnesota. If your attack is lacking and you're failing to score goals and you don't really have anybody in front of net who can put away chances, aside from Robin Lod, who's not a natural striker, I think you have to take some chances with this lineup. I think either A, you stand pat and you say, okay, we're okay with a lack of performance over the first hour if it means we're going to put Hlongwane and Danladi in the 65th minute and then just, turn the Jets on from there. That's one option. I don't necessarily like it. I don't think it's perfect, but it's there. Your second option is to get more, creative with how you're going to put this team together. You have Luis Samaria, you have Adrian Hunu, you have Hlongwane, you have Danladi, you have a billion strikers. Why not put 2 of them on the field at the same time in the middle, in front of goal, and see what happens? Adrian Hunu, we know the backstory of Adrian Hunu. His success at Rennes in League One was in a 2-striker system. Try it. Give it a chance, see what happens. Or do what you did against Colorado and Chicago. start Amaria up top or start Hunu up top if you do want to make a change. And just sort of be okay with mediocre in the first hour, make your substitution that you're going to make, and hope that that second half success continues with that front three of Hlongwane, Dunladi, and Lud. To me, those are the two options right now because you cannot keep doing what you have done these last two matches. That experiment has not worked. The experiment of, okay, these guys were really good from the 65th minute on in our 2 wins. Let's try starting them together and see what happens. Well, we've seen what's happened. You get a good 15 minutes and then nothing after that. Well, I shouldn't say nothing after that. Minnesota United was generating chances throughout the match, but nowhere near to the degree of danger that that first 15 or 20 minutes had. And again, it's the second match in a row that we've seen that. So let's get into these game notes, guys, and feel free to keep leaving those questions and comments as we move along here. As we've mentioned, the Loons dominate the early portion of the match. The high press worked, forcing turnovers. They were able to generate a lot of chances, but once again, no goals to show for it. If you're getting a goal or two in this first 15 minutes over these last 2 matches, the dynamic of the match changes, and you start to think, okay, this could work. Let's get a couple goals, let's bunker down, and let's ride the rest of the match out. But that's not what's happening. You're not taking advantage of these opportunities. 18th minute. Stop me if you heard this one before. Dane St. Clair making a brilliant save. This time it's a full stretch effort to stop Vasquez and keep Minnesota level. Obviously, Vasquez will get his revenge later in the match. We'll get to that in a minute. 25th minute, a pair of opportunities for the Loons. It's Dunladi and Lawrence both getting shots on goal, but both are denied by Celentano. He was excellent again tonight in goal for Cincinnati. He's been one of the better goalkeepers in MLS as well, alongside St. Clair. 37th minute, Loons on a counter attack, and this was just brilliant. Dunladi on the right with the ball. He sends in this is the word that comes to mind. This may not be the word that you would use to describe this, but I'm going to describe this as a delicious centering ball into the box. But Adrian Anu can't quite get a solid foot on it. His shot is blocked. That was a real missed opportunity for him. If he scores there, I look really smart by saying you should start Adrian Anu. Unfortunately, he doesn't start. His XG is in the toilet, and I don't look smart for saying you should start Adrian Anu. So there we go. That's that. 43rd minute, another fantastic save from St. Clair coming off his line to stop a one-on-one opportunity for Cincinnati. I mean, it really was Cincinnati on St. Clair, like one on the goalie. And St. Clair just comes off his line at the perfect time to cut off the angle and cut off that opportunity. Interesting note from the first half. No goals, no cards, no fouls, no subs. So what does that mean? No stoppage time. I don't know if I've seen a half quite like that. I've seen no stoppage time, but even those, he had a foul or two. This first half, not even a foul, not even any stoppage, not even any time really the ball wasn't in play for the most part, unless it was a throw in or a goal kick. So that was a very, very interesting and quick first half. Second half, though, a couple of changes. 57th minute, Minnesota United puts in Franco Fragapane on for Hunu, which moves Abu Danladi to striker. And then another sub in the 63rd with Nico Hansen coming on for Bangi Hlongwane. 65th, right off the bench, it's Hansen getting a great point-blank look on goal off the feed from Reynoso, but it goes wide. He mishits it. It actually goes to Dunladi, who's on the right side of the post, and he is unable to deflect it back on net. Another missed opportunity for Minnesota. 76th minute, this is an opportunity for Cincinnati. Not sure who got the foot on this one, but a dangerous outside-footed shot, and yet again, it's a great save from Dane St. Clair. Drink. 79th minute, Minnesota makes another sub, their final sub of the match. Joseph Rosales on for Will Trapp. 82nd, another quality opportunity for the Loons. That included maybe a handball in the box and a dangerous ball across goal from Hansen that goes to nobody. But it ends in a Cincinnati counter. And you see two guys coming into the picture for Minnesota on an all-out hustle. You see Bakaye Debasi in the middle of the field cutting off the passing option. And then you see Michael Boxall taking on the man with the ball there, and he makes a great, vital challenge to snuff out that opportunity for Cincinnati. Thought that was going to be crucial in sort of solidifying a scoreless draw, but silly me, as there was a lot of match still left to go. It's in the 86th minute. It's Alvaro Barrial for Cincinnati. He gets a great shot on goal on the half volley on the left side. Looks destined for the top corner, almost a near perfect shot. But who's there again to save the day? none other than Dane St. Clair. And 89th, promising Minnesota counter ends up at the feet of an overlapping Fragapane on the right-hand side, but the winger's cross is over the end line for a goal kick. And then 90 plus 3. I don't know how this happens. You have a great back line, a great defense. They're all there. They're all in the box. But somehow, the visitor, this is just stunning. I still cannot quite wrap my head around how this happened. The visitors break through Minnesota's back line somehow, some way. Harris on the side of the box finds a wide open Vasquez. You have 4 Minnesota defenders. You can see in the shot behind goal when they're showing this goal, and you're looking out into the box. You can see 4 black shirts behind Vasquez. Sort of almost standing in a straight line, just watching. And he's wide open. He nets the tap in, and that does it. That's the difference. 1-0 Cincinnati over Minnesota at Allianz Field. The crowd went absolutely quiet. I was not at Allianz Field, obviously. I was here at home. I was stunned silent. I have to imagine the crowd at Allianz was as well. And now you're left scratching your head. You're left wondering what the heck is going to happen here with this club. I guess it can go 2 directions. You can either dust yourself off and say, okay, we're going to fight for our spot in the Western Conference and try to move forward the rest of the season. Or this could be an indicator of who Minnesota United is this year. Maybe they will take another step back. Maybe the strikers they brought on board in the offseason aren't going to be able to get it done. Maybe this goal-scoring struggle is going to continue. I hope it doesn't. We've seen glimpses of finished chances and the ability to score goals and score multiple goals. But the consistency, that's been it with this team from an attacking perspective. Basically, I should say from the beginning, but they were just terrible in general their first 2 years in MLS. So I'm really going to say from 2019 on. Inconsistent in the attack. The ending of 2020 is really the only exception to that, with Mano Reynoso's just, onslaught when he first signed on. But other than that, after that, all last season, the beginning portion of this season, massive inconsistency with goal scoring and finishing off opportunities. And that still hasn't seemed to be fixed. All right, guys, before we move any further, I should say, we're going to shout out our friends over at Pence Homes. Nate Pence is just an all-around great guy and a huge supporter of Minnesota soccer. And oh, by the way, he's pretty damn good at his job as a realtor. Nate and his team are realtors, hooking people up with homes or helping people sell their homes in the Minneapolis and St. Paul area. So if that fits you, if you're selling, if you're buying, if you're doing both, this is a crazy market right now. I'm sure you've heard that, right? Market's pretty wild. So you need somebody like Nate and his team to help guide you through it. If you just go to pentzhomes.com, pentzhomes.com, you can see the amazing reviews that they've gotten. All their ratings on all the major platforms that you would look at for something like this are very, very good and have a ton of reviews. And it's for a good reason too. Nate's a really nice guy. He's down to earth. If you've ever met him and talked to him, you'll know he's chill and he cares, right? And it's the same way with his realty with Pence Homes. They care about you and hooking you up with the home you need or helping you sell the home at the highest possible value. So go to pentzhomes.com to learn more or email Nate directly, Nate, Nate, at pentzhomes.com. We cannot thank Nate and Pence Homes enough for supporting and helping us out over here with sodasoccer.com and Post Loons. Quick aside here, not only are we covering Minnesota United over at sodasoccer.com, we are also covering everything lower league soccer here in Minnesota over at sodasoccer.com. Tonight was opening night for the NPSL North. Huge statement win for Duluth FC over Joy Athletic, 5-0. We'll have all your coverage of all the NPSL North action up this weekend at Soda Soccer, as well as coverage of tomorrow's Minneapolis City USL League 2 opener at Ador Nelson Field in Minneapolis. Matthew Johnson has joined Soda Soccer. You've probably heard him on maybe the Daves I Know podcast and other Minnesota soccer outlets. He has joined Soda Soccer to help us cover the lower league scene this summer. He is going to be out at Ador Nelson Field tomorrow covering that Minneapolis City opener for Soda Soccer, and he'll have a write-up after the match, obviously. So make sure you tune in to Soda Soccer for not only your Minnesota United updates and news, but also everything going on in the world of Minnesota soccer. All right. More thoughts and opinions coming in here. Cindy Hoffbeck, my mother-in-law, chiming in. Looked like Ray was playing with the B team, she said. Except for Boxall, Dabasi, and St. Clair, you should be man of the match with DSC. That was so frustrating to watch. Cindy, I agree. I don't know about the B team comment, but it did. I mean, Reynoso stood out. He was setting guys up, and guys were unable to finish those chances. And it's got to be frustrating for him. And it's also, we talk about a wasted performance from St. Clair. Tonight's a wasted performance from Emmanuel Reynoso too. I'm watching this match and I'm saying Minnesota United does not lose these matches where Reynoso steps up and has this kind of match. They usually get 3 points out of those matches where Emmanuel Reynoso is a factor and he is distributing and he's setting guys up and he's making things happen. You had that performance from Reynoso tonight and you end up with nothing because there was really no support for Reynoso there on the attack. Maybe this shows just how valuable Robin Lod is, to Christian's point earlier. Maybe Robin Lod is more valuable. I mean, obviously, we know Robin Lod is valuable to this team and this attack. Maybe he's even more valuable than we think. Maybe with him out of the picture, maybe this team can't muster up any shots on goal, or any quality shots on goal, I should say. I don't know what Minnesota United's XG was tonight. I have not looked at the stats. I guess I can look those up right now. I haven't looked, so I'm taking my guess for Minnesota United's XG. I'm going to guess 0.6. I'm going to say it's not even 1. I'm going to say it's barely over half an XG. I'm going to say 0.6. So I'm getting on him. MLSsoccer.com now. Don't for me, guys. I'm going to check this, check the XG here on the website. But my guess is 0.6. And that seems pretty fair, honestly, for what we saw tonight from Minnesota United. I mean, John Marthaler tweeted after the first half, or I believe it was Andy Grader. Sorry. Andy Grader from the Pioneer Press tweeted at halftime that Adrian Nanu is at like a 0.16 XG. Bongi Hwangwani was at like a 0.17 XG. So that's kind of what you were working for Minnesota United. That's the cut it. That is just not going to do the trick. You need to make it worth the performances that you're seeing from your stars. Dane St. Clair, Manuel Reynoso. Like, Reynoso can do everything that you ask him to do, right? But at the end of the day, he's more of a distributor from that number 10 position. He's not going to go one-on-one, cut into the box and score a single-handed goal. Like, that's not really his game. He's a distributor. He sets guys up. But if no guys are there to finish those chances, it's a waste. And we saw a lot of that tonight. From Minnesota and from the attack. It's taking me a while to pull these stats up. So while I'm getting the stats up and checking what Minnesota United's XG was on the evening, I'm assuming it was not very good. We're going to shout out another one of our sponsors here, and that's 9th Street Soccer and Coffee. Derek and the team at 9th Street are awesome. They have been with us at Post Loons since we started Post Loons at the beginning of the 2021 season. So they really are OG supporters of Post Loons and our podcast 10,000 Pitches and sodasoccer.com as well. So if you're looking for a place to have some coffee and play some soccer, watch some soccer, just be in a soccer environment, 9th Street Soccer and Coffee is the Minnesota soccer, or the Twin Cities soccer community hub. It really is. You can go there, work on your computer during the day, watch some soccer on the TV. If you're into playing pickup soccer, they have weekly affordable pickup. If you want to reserve a field for your party, your group outing, maybe for your team to practice, you can reserve field time at 9th Street as well. It really is just a full service, full environment. You have the coffee shop, you have the indoor soccer facility. What more could you need in life, right? So go hit them up, 9thstreetmpls.com. You'll see at the bottom there, it's NINTHSTREET MPLS.com. Or make sure you follow them on Twitter and Instagram at 9th Street MPLS. Again, you'll see 9th and Street are both spelled out there. 9th Street Soccer and Coffee, located at 801 South 9th Street in Minneapolis. All right. Slowly but surely getting to these stats here, guys. So I apologize, but we're pulling them up. And again, my guess, without even seeing the XG on the evening, was 0.6 for Minnesota United. I'm going to say Cincinnati was at like 1.1. So my guess is 0.6 to 1.1. Again, this is taking forever to load. Apologize. All right. Team total XG. Minnesota United 1, Cincinnati 2. A little bit higher on both ends than I anticipated, but I don't disagree with that. 1 XG for Minnesota United sounds about right. 2 for Cincinnati. I didn't think it would be that big of a gap, to be honest. But I think that Vasquez goal probably moved that up, probably a full expected goal because it was right in front of the net, right? If you guys have any more questions or comments, feel free to drop those in the chat. Moving forward, we look ahead, lick your wounds here if you're Minnesota United, because on Wednesday, you welcome Colorado Rapids to Allianz Field for the round of 32 in the U.S. Open Cup. Now, this is a Colorado team who you just beat a couple weeks ago. You used a specific formula to beat that team. You haven't really used that formula over the last few matches. Maybe you go back to the well. Maybe you go back to bringing Longwane and Dunladi on in the second half and see if that can bring you the same success that it did the last time out. It's a 7 o'clock start over at Allianz Field for U.S. Open Cup action. And then I believe their next match after that is next Saturday, as I bring up the schedule here. Might take a minute for this to load. I apologize. Again, this is bad radio once again. Next Sunday. And of course, you're going to Seattle, the CONCACAF Champions League winners, the team that despite their MLS struggles will probably be at the top of MLS.com's or MLSsoccer.com's power rankings because they like to stir up conversation and controversy with those power rankings. So, the good thing is, according to MLSsoccer.com, you'll probably be playing the best team in MLS next Sunday, which can give you a good opportunity to get a big win against what MLSsoccer.com thinks is the best team in MLS. Again, I'm going back to this well because I like to hark on the MLSsoccer.com power rankings. It's one of the best bits of our show is to hark on the MLSsoccer.com power rankings. So if you listen to the 10,000 Pitches podcast with myself and Dominic Jose Bizonio, you will hear us do that basically on a weekly basis, especially with how they rank Seattle in those rankings, despite losing to some of the worst teams in the league. But that's neither here nor there. So a big week coming up at home against Colorado in the U.S. Open Cup on Wednesday, and then you go to Seattle fresh off their CONCACAF Champions League win next Sunday. I believe it's a 3 p.m. Yep, 3 p.m. kickoff next Sunday, May 15th. And then you're right back at it again the following Wednesday. So Wednesday, Sunday, Wednesday, as Minnesota hosts the LA Galaxy on the 18th as well. So a lot going on, a lot of action. We will be covering it all here at sodasoccer.com and Post Loons. So make sure you join us the entire way. As for better or worse, we will be here for you after every Minnesota United match. All right, guys. If there's no more questions or comments, we will cut this one off early tonight. Let's go have a drink, and we'll look ahead to tomorrow. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. I don't think my mom is watching, but if you are, love you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. If you haven't got any flowers or a card or balloons or stuff like that, go do that in the morning. It means a lot. I did the whole flowers today, just because we have a busy day scheduled tomorrow. So, but yeah, happy Mother's Day tomorrow to all the moms. Love all the moms. Appreciate all the moms. And hopefully we'll be talking to you Wednesday night after a U.S. Open Cup win for Minnesota United. Until then, make sure you're checking out all the content at sodasoccer.com. We appreciate all the support, and we will catch you Wednesday for another edition of Post Loons. See you.